what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Xfeed. What's up? My name is Schiller. Well, listen, look at that. We can it's a ghost. No, it's just people that are, I don't know. This is maybe the worst opening ever. Welcome to another edition of Xfeed. We are going to talk about some of the massive headlines that have come out over the week. Beyond that, we're going to talk a little bit about sports just for the sake of it. We're going to go over some major crypto scams that you could potentially fall for, but I don't think you would. And watching people fall for these sort of things are absolutely just, I don't know. It's mind-boggling to say the least, but we're going to go over that. Welcome on in. Let's get into it. Re-highlighting, we brought it up yesterday, but this was a headline. The House Committee on Financial Services says, in quotes, the era of digital assets is no longer just a promise. It is a national priority. Coming out of the United States, unfriggin' real headline. Feels like we're in some kind of a movie. And then there's this. New California Governor Gavin Newsom has announced the launch of the California Breakthrough Project with top leaders from Ripple, Coinbase, MoonPay, and more to advise and advance government efficiency and collaboration. On crypto rails, the task force, which met for the first time on June 6th at Ripple's San Francisco HQ, will also include leaders from Instacart, Snapchat, and what the hell is that? Onjural Industries, shaping the future of defense, transforming U.S. and allied military capabilities. Okay, and Ron Conway. Apparently, the guy's got money. So the objectives include foster collaboration between state decision makers and experts from tech, business, and innovative sectors, bring innovation and new ideas to identify and address system inefficiencies in government processes, services, and technology, generate new California challenge-based efforts to catalyze modern solutions within public service, maintain public transparency, labor and civil society consultation, and ethical safeguards throughout the innovation process. So when you first read like the top little half of this, right, I feel like, oh, this is going to be everything relating to crypto, but then you read down and it's more about like tech as a whole. But again, Ripple, Coinbase, MoonPay, very interesting conglomerate of individuals. Which ones are going to be vying for them to, do things on their particular rails, or is it just a talk about tech? JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says the company will get involved in crypto stablecoins and auto-sue him, saying clown trash. Talk crypto for a decade and now is going to get involved with it. I don't understand. I don't understand these people. It's hilarious. They're like, oh, you know what? We're wrong. Let me pivot my whole business to doing something on here. Do you recall when there was, I want to say maybe there was 2 or 3 very large sports names, one of them being Odell Beckham Jr., that said, hey, you know what? I want to take my paychecks in Bitcoin several years ago. And it went through a flux. Originally, it was like, oh, that person's brilliant because Bitcoin goes up, then it goes down, and people are like, ha ha, clown. I should work at a circus. But now it's like, oh my God, that was potentially the best decision that individual has ever made. And it's just, I don't know. It's funny. It's one of those feel-good stories for people that have conviction in certain things. And we've talked about the stigma within the space. And I think that it is sort of funny where we bring up this particular incident. So if you're not aware, there was a meme character that was called Chill Guy. And Chill Guy meme. If we look at this, it was literally just this character, right? It was just this character, and everybody just responded to things saying, oh, it's fine, I'm a chill guy. It's kind of stupid, right? Like when I'm trying to explain this, I don't know if it like fundamentally makes sense unless you understand online culture and interacting with people. And so that was just like a meme that you put for everything. And I mean, we see businesses in Web3 right now have like the Pudgy Penguin as their profile. I'm talking every company on earth was randomly doing social engagement about that because it was like the hottest thing in history, right? So the meme coin goes crazy. And this is just, it's so unfathomable to look back at now because we've seen Matt Fury, who created like the Pepe meme, who was donated the Pepe coin from people. There were a whole bunch of people that were in the industry that was going out and buying Matt Fury art, and a lot of it's still worth a pretty hefty sum. And there was a huge support around it, but for whatever reason, the artist behind the chill guy decided, yeah, I don't really like crypto for whatever reason. So they say it's been a while since the last time this happened, but since I've been getting messages through Twitter, Instagram, and even through my Ko-Fi, I just want to be clear about this. I don't endorse or consent to my art being used in any crypto-related things. Please leave me alone. And now nobody talks about chill guy. A guy probably didn't end up making like any capital about it. It's like, this is an opportunity where people love what you've done. You don't have a middleman. You've created this. Everybody wants to support you, and you're like, no, screw them. For what reason? For what exact reason? And Bosch is saying, bro could have made 10 million and walked away. No one knows who he is anyways. Victim mentality is crazy. Just ridiculous. Just people love your thing, and you're like, nah, you're good. That's crazy. Okay. Miguel Kudry, who we've had on the podcast before. The tech is about to come quite good again, it seems. Very true. Everything works well when the prices increase. So give me a little bit of a hit of nostalgia here. Do you remember back in the day when cereal boxes used to have video games? I'm pretty sure I remember this Timon and Pumbaa game. Freddy Fish was absolutely phenomenal. Roller Coaster Tycoon went on to be an absolute staple. A lot of other really, really good ones. The nostalgia hit is real. And for any old Toronto Blue Jay fans, BJ Ryan, Roy Halladay, and the third baseman, Troy Gloss. The 2006 All-Star game, a little bit different from the ones that we saw yesterday with the way that the games worked out. Paul Skeens getting a loss again. For any baseball fans, holy smokes. Good game. But either way, very, very crazy to see some of these things from back in the day. So June 25th, this is like a month ago, right? It's nasty. What's going on? How are we doing? Manitoba Senior loses $2 million in crypto scam. So I haven't clicked on this one, but I was trying to like just search through X and see what I could come up with this because we have like a really, really gnarly story here in a second. So the Manitoba Securities Commission has issued a warning after a local senior lost $2 million in life saving to a crypto scam. According to the MSC, the scam involved using artificial intelligence to create a fraudulent and unregistered business called Fargo Investor with a realistic looking website. The government agency said others may have invested in it or been approached by Fargo Investor and encourages them to get in touch with the MSC investigations team. So after you sign up, someone will call you and pressure you to invest in around $300 and then show you bogus profits to build your trust. The ruthless scammers could spend years trying to drain someone's bank account, so it's important to learn and practice fraud detection skills, which is, I mean, for some of us, right, like going up with the whole internet age or whatever, we're like so in tune to all of this, don't trust anybody, anything, period. And then so I'm scrolling around on social media yesterday, and this story comes up on my headline, and just... yeah, I'm just going to play it.
We got stung big time.
Donald and Ghislaine Perkins of Ottawa say it was in January when they saw a video of then Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. She appeared to be talking about an investment opportunity that could make them rich.
I urge each of you to seize this opportunity and register for the project. I personally guarantee the safety of your funds.
We bought into it, and we got swindled by a very smooth-talking couple of individuals.
The Perkins started out investing just a few $100s, but eventually handed over their life savings of more than $42,000.
When we went to access the money, they wouldn't give it to us and said that we had to give them $10,000.
Mark Carney came on with a woman that is very prominent in the bank system.
Brenda Dion of Whitby invested in cryptocurrencies after watching a deep-fake video of Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Make your initial deposit. From that point on, the algorithm earns on your behalf.
Dion says after she handed over her banking information, the fraudsters cleaned out her bank account of $16,000.
I said, I don't want you taking this money out of my account. I said, stop taking my money.
The Perkins have health problems and were hoping to boost their retirement savings, but instead lost it all.
I have a bag in my stomach, and I go to dialysis 3 times a week. You know, this was a good portion of our life savings.
So to recap, if you've been watching the stream all this week, I brought up the other day where I was talking with some people that were instantly like, crypto's a scam, crypto's a scam, crypto's a scam. And I feel like I didn't articulate that correctly at the time because, you know, talking with them a little bit, and obviously I'm trying to be like, hey, you know what, like I totally see like the side of it where obviously things don't work, and they're, you know, it is sort of like the stock market in a way where, you know, even if a stock's down, you don't call it a scam, but because it's in a different method within crypto and it's supposed to be for like a protocol versus a business, but also some of these protocols are supposed to be businesses on their own, and you go down like a whole list, right? And it's just it's a lot to overcome. But when, you know, I wouldn't say that like I pressed them about it, but it's like, oh, you know, like kind of being open, like I don't think like all of it's a scam, but they're like, well, no, like all these seniors and stuff, and they were referencing something, and I think that was actually what they saw, and they seen that on the news, and so like obviously like it gives crypto a bad name, but also it's like, well, I mean, if that person said, hey, we can make money in X, Y, and Z that's not crypto, would these people fallen for it, right? Like if it was those individuals on those like deepfake videos, would it be somebody that is like, I don't know. Like I'm just trying to like fully comprehend everything because it seems like wild, but again, don't trust anything. And this is some of the problems again with the fact that AI generation as a whole is like just wildly getting pretty advanced. So Samuel Cardillo, what a name. This is somebody that worked for Artifact. Now, quick TLDR, Artifact was a company that was super successful within Web3. It had one of the craziest exits in a way because Nike came along and said, hey, you know what? You guys seem like you're doing some good stuff. We're going to acquire you. Move along a little bit. They kind of launched these certain IPs. They really make this exciting sounding, hey, we're doing these digital goods. We're Nike. We're everything else under the sun. And it turned out to be like coupons to buy shoes and other kind of stupid stuff that people spent like tens of thousands of dollars on because it was presumed, hey, there's going to be something more to that. Maybe there's going to be, you know, very, very limited one-time access of Nike stuff. Like, again, the concept, in theory, you know, supply and demand, it was pretty good. But basically, it fell flat. Artifact was like, yo, or Nike said, we're dropping this. We're focusing on .swoosh, which is some other AI arm. I'm pretty sure Samuel was one of the people that like came around that was trying to help the community where possible towards the end. And to not make the point too long here, but we did talk the other day where there was the conversation around Vivi and the people that had those licensed IPs could be similar to Nike in a way where they were saying, hey, we want to have the ability to remove these assets from this particular ecosystem in case something like the Artifact situation happened, which, again, the Artifact NFTs, they weren't really gate locked, but, you know, just trying to connect the stories. Anyway, now that I'm out, you know, all the Artifact stuff's done, I kind of have the right to give my opinion on something important, a real learning. I kind of have the right to give my opinion. I mean, everybody's got a right to give an opinion, but hell yeah. One of the reasons NFTs and crypto failed adoption by known brands is because no one want consumers to become wannabe investors. One of the reasons NFTs and crypto failed adoption by known brands is because no one want consumers to become wannabe investors. So taking that at face value, right? Like how do we block the rest of that off, right? Taking that top part at face value, I don't know if we can say that's not without the way that things are pitched, right? Like if you go into something and saying, hey, these are supposed to be fun, like digital collectibles, there ain't going to be nothing more for them except maybe like a cool skin within a video game, an experience here, a one-time claimable, but having something that's very clear and construed, you don't have this problem. The issue is that everything in Web3 is super vague. The whole roadmap thing, even that is vague to a point, and I get it, and maybe this is different with like the regulations and whatnot, but there was a huge overpromise of things from some of these bigger players. So I agree with the assessment of, yeah, sure, no company wants people that are like hammering at them being like, oh, yeah, these need to go up in value, yada, 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 yada. But I think that there is a difference between how certain assets are presented. So example, they want you to buy the shoes because you like them, not because you think you can become rich with them. True, but also at the same time, I mean, if you're the company and you're getting royalties on people trading these NFTs, I mean, who are you to say, yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want people to speculate on my goods when they do that with physical things anyway. But now the companies just aren't able to make more off of it. Where on a physical, if I'm selling a Pokemon card, Pokemon doesn't get anything out of it. But when they come on chain, Woo! Flying, baby. The continuous financial incentive is what corrupted many things, including what known brands tried to do during their implementations of consumer-facing blockchain. It just doesn't work. Again, it's about setting expectations. Sure, I can say that we're probably not going to have the same sort of, and this is everybody's take, right? Everybody says, well, NFTs are, going to come back, but not in the same way that we saw. And I agree, but I mean, we just have to have clear-cut expectations. It's not hard. At least I don't think so. FC Andorra will play in Spain's second division next season. This is the view from their home ground, Estadi Nacional de Andorra. It only holds 3,306 people, but is surrounded by the most incredible mountain space. Yo, can you imagine having your career as a footballer playing in that stadium? That's cool. I love that. That's phenomenal. Some news out of Ripple. In partnership with Control Alt and the Dubai Land Department, Ripple Custody will deliver scalable and secure storage for the Dubai Land Department's tokenized real estate title deeds, which have been issued on the XRP ledger, enabling fractional ownership, transparency, and global access to Dubai's real estate market. So, Ripple Custody, I don't show things like a whole lot here. Like, I really try to keep things open for whatever, but we've seen Ripple Custody get brought up before by a network that's got like 200 people on it, and I've done videos with their founder. If you look up Auto Blockchain, something to keep an eye on if Ripple Custody ends up getting adopted. They won the Ripple Innovation Award last year, and I'm intrigued watching that as things transpire. Moonlight. Yes, Moonlight. I was going to say something different, but then I just realized it's just Moonlight, but kind of spelled sort of weird. Hot take. Cold take. Pengu is what ApeCoin was meant to be if it weren't for all the bureaucrat, ego-driven insiders, self-serving elitists, and brain-rotted maggots. Wow. This is like a Call of Duty lobby, but like a little bit more PG. Now, the only chance for Ape to succeed, in my opinion, is Garga's team execution, builders creating dope shit, on the other side, community, blah, 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 blah. So everybody's going to have an opinion on this, right? Because everybody's got an opinion on everything. I feel like I don't agree with this, like, even remotely, right? And like I'm a big BYC fan. Hell, like all my socials are on it, right? Like, still talk with a whole bunch of people within that community. But I don't think there was ever a point where ApeCoin came out and the intention was supposed to be this mimetic rise of some sort. Where I think from like Pengu, from day one, it's a meme coin. We're doing stuff on Solana. We're trying to do this, right? Like ApeChain launched its own chain. Right. So fundamentally from the get-go, I mean, okay, maybe you can like argue about like price, returns, whatever the hell you want to do about that. But I fundamentally think that they're trying to achieve two completely different things for those tokens. So comparing them, just, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. But some positivity though around things around other side. Yuga, one of the mega codas, selling for $77,000. Holy sheesh. And also keep an eye, because one thing that I feel like I've noticed, and it's always like, okay, is this going to happen this cycle or not? As soon as ETH goes, NFT floors just drop. Now, that's not every collection by any means, but it seems like that's a very prominent happening this time around. Today, from Roblox, today we're opening the doors to IP collaborations at scale on Roblox. Our new licenses catalog lets creators apply to build with some of the biggest IPs, starting with partners like Lionsgate and their iconic titles like Twilight, Saw, and more. So, how do you bring things back? Well, maybe in these worlds, you can just, I thought that was going to be an image, goddammit. But, like, these are the things, right? People are going to be able to become creators. You can work with these IPs. These IPs are like, hey, you know what? If you can make us a cool experience, if you can make us money, here you go. The creator economy is here. This is going to be super, super fun to watch. Just in, Bank of America expects to launch a crypto stablecoin. Everybody's wanting to do a stable. Now, the final thing to leave you with here, and I was talking with Snazzy a little bit earlier about this concept, and I think things are going to change a lot. Because if you were going to ask me 5 years ago, hey, do you know anything about crypto? I'd say, not a freaking clue. Do you know anything about streaming? Nah, a little bit. You know anything about like how to do things on like a blockchain? Like ignoring the fact of like crypto speculation? Like, you know anything ins and outs stuff? And I'm like, nah. Do I know much more now? Yeah. But I'm aware of it, and things are starting to change. You're probably somebody that's gotten introduced to the space over the past several years, hell, maybe even this year, but you can notice that things change. And back in the day, growing up, we used to have flip phones. We used to have dial-up internet. We used to not have DoorDash, Uber Eats, any of these delivery type services, but things have changed and it becomes a huge, huge part of your life for some. Now, it might not be for you regarding DoorDash and some of these other components that we just talked about, but what does the future of digital integration look like? What does it change for humans interacting, etc.? So on the Roblox topic, Roblox CEO David Baszucki says the platform will eventually support dating for verified adults aged 21 and over. In quotes, I think a lot of people who might be afraid to go on a real life date might find it easier to have a virtual date to start. And similarly, a lot of dates right now come from dating apps, not necessarily meeting in person. In some cases, absolutely, but I would say the numbers for having, online romances, whatever, are sky high comparatively to 10 years ago. And so what if this sort of thing happens? And what does this change for the online culture? What does it change if these things are on blockchain rails? Does it matter if they're on blockchain rails? But everybody's seeming to kind of build for this world. But things are happening. Things are changing. Kind of weird, kind of exciting at the same time. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for coming on through. Snazzy, thank you for jumping on through on the live as well. And if you guys are wanting more content, we do the RWA Segments podcast, in which you can check out the link in the YouTube description down below or in my bio on X. And we talk with a whole bunch of absolute brainiacs within the space, trying to tokenize everything that exists. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.